Welcome to Online Business Sales Mastery. This is a free 30-minute workshop that will help you consistently meet your monthly revenue goal in 90 days or less. If we don't already know each other, my name is Scott Perry. I'm an Encore life coach at Creative on Purpose, where I help people in midlife reconnect with their soul's true calling and turn it into a fulfilling, prosperous, part-time online lifestyle business. Now, this workshop is for you if you're building a business in midlife as a teacher, as a coach, a consultant, a freelancer, or entrepreneur. And of course, if you identify with any of those things at any age, if you're building an online business, you're going to find the stuff that I'm sharing with you in this 30-minute workshop to be really, really powerful. So with that, let's go ahead and jump right in and get going. So here we are inside Online Business Mastery. I've already talked a little bit about who you might be and why you're here, and I've delivered a little introduction of myself, but I also want to share a promise. My promise to you is in this 30-minute workshop, you're going to learn a process that will help you start to hit your monthly revenue goals more consistently in 90 days or less. There's no sales pitch, there's no sell coming at the end of this workshop or in the email sequence that follows. Is just a couple of emails with some additional resources that will help you amplify and leverage the promise of this workshop. Now, I know that some of you will reach out to me to take a bolder step into possibility and your potential as an entrepreneur, and that's great, but for the time being, I'm not here to pitch or sell you anything, just here to deliver as much value as I can in as short a period as I can. You're going to leave this workshop with an actionable program that you can start putting into your online messaging so that you are doing both brand marketing and direct sales at the same time and taking less time doing it so that you can close more sales and you can thrive inside your online business. Now, one of the things that I think you should do right away is think about how do you frame what you do or what you aspire to do. Maybe you're just getting started. You heard my introduction. I am an Encore life coach, helping people in midlife reconnect with their soul's true calling and turning it into a fulfilling, profitable online lifestyle business. Can you frame what you do in simply one sentence? Does it call out who you serve and the promise of value that you deliver to them? It could be really, really helpful in amplifying the process you're going to learn here. I also want you to just consider where you're at in this journey. Maybe you came here just to explore the idea of building an online business as an entrepreneur. Maybe you're thinking about leveraging your wisdom and earned experience as a coach or consultant or a course creator or creating a cause. Maybe you are starting and are looking for some help refining and defining your offer and audience so that you can start to get some of your first sales. And maybe you have already established a clear offer and audience. You have some sales already, but you're ready to leverage that and amplify that by 2xing, 3xing, 10xing those sales. Wherever you are in that journey, the material I'm sharing with you today is going to be really, really helpful. What are you struggling with? What do you need to dial in to launch or scale your online product or service? What's broken? What's missing? I'll tell you what I think it is. It's the same problem that I had for years. I had a sales problem. I was not selling enough of my online service to justify the amount of time, attention, and effort I was investing in it. And I made the same mistake I see all of my clients making. I had a sales problem, but I was not solving it with a sales solution. Instead, I was just doing the same marketing over and over and over again. You can't solve a sales problem with a marketing solution. You have to incorporate some sales solution into your messaging, and that's what we're going to learn how to do here today. So with that, we should probably talk a little bit about what's the difference between sales and marketing. So when we are putting our work out into the world, we have people at the far end of the spectrum that don't even know who we are. And then, of course, we have, hopefully, some people who have already invested in our service. And between that long causal chain are a series of steps. You have to earn someone's awareness. You have to get their attention. You have to earn their permission to talk to them. You have to get them to trust you enough to start to be interested in your service, and then to enroll in the journey you want to take them on, and then to finally invest in your product or service. That's a long causal chain, or some people will call it a funnel, and it's very prone to breaking, or if you're thinking of it as a funnel, it's very prone to leaking. And so what we do so many times is we treat ourselves like we're some sort of big brand. We think we're Goodyear, and we build a blimp or blimps, and we sail them all over social media, hoping that some random stranger will look to the sky and say, oh yeah, I need one of those. I'll go to this guy or this gal over here and try to get that. That doesn't work for solopreneurs like you and I. It doesn't work if you're an independent freelancer. What you need is a more compressed path between I don't know who you are to I'm ready to go on this journey with you and invest in the solution that you have for me. And that's what we're going to learn here. So what I want you to do is to suss out the difference between your marketing and your sales. Your marketing is important. Brand marketing is where you are putting messaging out in the world that helps the story you tell yourself about yourself and your offer, and you try to align that with the story your ideal clients tell themselves about yourself and your offer. But brand marketing is not what you think you do, it's what other people think you do. And so the purpose of brand marketing is to get alignment around what you do and who you are and what other people think you do and who you are. Sales is about making change happen. It's about enrollment and investment and going on a journey to make a transformation or make a change that your ideal client seeks to make. And so make sure that you know the difference here. So what we're going to learn is this integrated approach that incorporates the best elements of brand marketing and the best elements of direct sales so that we can catalyze the right prospects to get to the next level of engagement or even skip levels. Again, remember, long journey. Leaky funnel, awareness, attention, permission, trust, interest, enrollment, investment. We're going to shorten the distance between someone just colliding with you and your work in online or in the world and enrolling and investing in that journey. So, word of warning, before you fix your sales problem, you must have enough clarity about your offer and audience. And notice I said enough, because you'll never have complete clarity about your offer and audience. Offers and audiences iterate and improve and refine over time. But you should have a good enough, you should have a validated offer. You should have a validated audience, something that you know the people you seek to serve need to have and are willing to pay for. If you don't have that, some of what I'm talking about here will still help you with that validation of offer and audience. But in terms of getting those monthly revenue numbers, you have to have an online offer that is already selling to an audience that you seek to spend your time and effort and expertise with. So what we're going to be talking about here today is goal, strategy, and tactic. And here's how I define these terms. A lot of people think their goal is that this long-term vision they have for themselves and their work. That's not a goal. That's a vision. That's a dream. That's a place that you probably never actually get to. It's the vision of the world that you're co-creating with the people that you seek to serve. And that's a noble thing, and it should be something that you have. But goals are the small steps, the small efforts that you need to complete to achieve your vision, that are on mission. They are leveraging the work that you do to achieve that vision. And so what we're talking about when we talk about goals here is that they are small action steps. And here's the thing. They are specific, they are measurable, and they are scheduled. They serve your mission and vision, but they have an expiration date. They have a way of measuring how close to or far away you are to them as your expiration date is coming up. And they have a very specific call to action. You have a very specific thing that you're doing when you achieve this goal. Strategy is a clear and direct plan for achieving the goal. Now, this is where it gets even more complicated because people conflate strategy with tactics. Tactics are easy and essential actions you take to execute the strategy. But what I hear all the time from my clients, and what I practiced myself for too many years, is I thought my strategy was marketing, was how I posted on social media, how I engaged with my mailing list, all the opt-ins and lead magnets I created, all the free webinars and workshops I created. That's not a strategy. Those are tactics. Your strategy is the one clear plan, process that you're going to work on or in every day. And your tactics are the very small steps. So just one little note here. You should be very thoughtful and deliberate when you're setting your goals and strategy. They are things that you should set and set in stone. Set a goal, set an expiration date, set a strategy, work that strategy until the goal's expiration date. Tactics are things that you can test and tweak and you can set aside and try anew. But goals and strategies should be firmly established. You should have a lot of clarity about those before you start working towards them with your tactics. Now, I'm going to give you some examples, or an example, based on this idea of achieving a monthly revenue target. That's going to be my goal, and I'm going to walk you through the goal, the strategy, and the tactic that I use to achieve my goal by doing more of the right things, less of the wrong things, and taking less time doing it. What goal are you working on right now? Do you have a revenue goal? What is that number? Don't say double or triple or 10x my income. What's the number? What's the number that you're going to reach? When are you going to reach it? Specific, measurable, scheduled. At the beginning of, I guess it was April, I decided that my goal, before I get to that, I'm supposed to go over the checklist. Here's some things to think about as you're setting your goal. And if you don't have a revenue goal, you can use this checklist for whatever goal you're setting. The first is, of course, is this goal specific, measurable, and scheduled? If it's not all of those things, then you don't have a goal. Go back and make sure, specific, measurable, scheduled. Second question, if I achieve this goal, will this goal move my endeavor forward further and faster than any other goal I could set? We all have to-do lists. Those are all goals. But what is the one thing that if you prioritized and achieved it, would actually propel you further and propel you faster toward your vision? And then finally, can you commit to sticking with this goal until the scheduled date? Again, you have to stay with the goal and the strategy to the bitter end. You'll then know whether or not you achieved it, how close you came to achieving it, how far away you came to achieving it, and you can iterate and improve as you move forward. So for my example is I wanted to double my monthly revenue from $5K a month to $10K a month. Again, this was a goal I set for myself. I think it was just at the end of April. And I wanted to do it in less than 90 days. So by the end, May, June, end of July, I wanted to have 10K per month as my consistent monthly revenue. Now, strategy. What strategy are you using to achieve it? Think about that. What's the strategy? What's the one clear process plan that you're going to stick to until the end of your scheduled goal date? Here's the strategy checklist. Is my strategy clear and direct? Can I say it out loud? Does it make sense? Does it shorten the distance between my people don't know who I am and people are investing in what I do? Can I stick with this until my goal is achieved or not? If you don't think that you can fully commit to this strategy, then you don't have a strategy yet. Make sure that you're willing to stick it out until the goal's expiration date. And then how will you remain accountable and on track? At Creative on Purpose, we have a difference maker community that is really effective at this. We have inspirational calls at the beginning of the week to help get us fired up and going. And we have co-working calls and group coaching calls, and we provide each other with a lot of support and encouragement and feedback, and hold each other accountable. And it really helps propel us forward and keep us on the path with achieving our goals and serving our business's mission or vision. Who do you have to hold you to account? Who do you have to support and encourage you? Who do you have to provide the feedback necessary to improve? So my example of a strategy is, I decided that the fastest path to cash, the fastest path to closing sales, the fastest path to making the change I sought to make with people I sought to serve was conversation. It's a thing that's always worked. Engaging people, engaging the right people in conversation, and helping myself earn their permission and trust so that I could then earn their enrollment and investment. So the specific strategy was, I wanted to engage in 10 message conversations with prospective clients each week, which would lead to 10 discovery calls with prospective clients per month. 10 messages, private messages to people that were responding to my work on Facebook. 10 messages to people on my email list that replied to a question or a call to action that I provided in one of my 2 weekly emails, and then leveraging those conversations to continue to move things forward. That was my strategy. Let's move on to finally tactics. What is one tactic you can employ every day? One tactic. What is the daily discipline that you're going to commit to, at least in the beginning, that serves your strategy so that you can step into your potential with the goal that you set for yourself? Here's the tactics checklist. Is it effective and efficient or not? Can it be done in 30 minutes a day or less? That's the tactic that or one of the parameters I set around my tactic. I had to be able to do it every single day. And in order to do that, I had to make it a very small habit, a 30-minute exercise that I could do every single day. Can you do it every day? Is it something that you can do with intention and integrity? Does it align with who you are and what you're good at and where you belong? And then, is this tactic repurposable? Can this tactic be employed everywhere that you're putting out your messaging? We'll get to that a little bit deeper in just a minute here. Again, I want to highlight this. Your goal and strategy should be thoughtfully considered, decided upon, and fixed. See them through until your goal is achieved or isn't. You can assess and iterate from there. Tactics can be tried and tested and tweaked or replaced as needed. So here's my example of a tactic. I'm going to have intentional and integrated brand marketing and direct sales messaging. I'm going to take the best elements of brand marketing, the best elements of direct sales messaging. I'm going to marry them in all of the things that I post on social media and that I send to my email list, that I put out on my podcast and do with my live broadcasts. So I create emails twice a week. I create social media posts 3 times a week, and I do this with what I call empathetic antagonism. I create some generous tension around the pain point or the aspiration that the people I seek to serve have, and I create this generous tension not to create false urgency or to blame and shame them into the solution that I have for them, or into the help that I can provide. I do it so that they can see what their real situation is and see it in a way that they can't unsee, so that they then have the incentive to take the action of stepping into possibility with a solution that I have for them. Empathetic antagonism is not manipulative. It is generous tension that leads to the action that helps build connection and trust and helps make change happen. So all this really meant for me was all of my messaging was repurposable. I would have a live broadcast, for instance, and I would call out my audience Are you building an entrepreneur business in midlife? That lets people know who exactly I'm talking to. And so if they see that and they identify in that way, they then go to the next step, which is the promise of value, the thing that I want to help them with. And I might say something like, if you're not meeting your monthly revenue targets consistently, I have an approach that will get you there in 90 days or less. I might then introduce myself, and then the most important part here is the call to action. I give them a question. I issue them a challenge. I give them a reason to connect by saying, hey, I have a free quick start guide for you. Leave quick start in the comments or send it to me by message, and I'll share the PDF with you. So I have this way of putting out messaging that definitely gives people a sense of my brand, who I am and what I do, and the change that I seek to make with and for the people that I serve. But I also had this direct call to action, this direct response. Email me, message me, grab the guide. And so this is the magic of this approach, is we're doing both at the same time, and I can take that message and I can put it in social media posts, I can put it in a live broadcast, I can put it in an email, I can put it in my blog. And I have one piece of content that I'm posting 3 times a week, but I'm posting it on multiple platforms. When I do a broadcast, I am posting to 3 social media platforms, and then 2 of them have pages that I can repurpose. So that's 5 places people are seeing that message. I then take out the audio and put it on my podcast, and that goes to 3 additional platforms. I can then take that text from the transcription, and I can create an email to my list that goes to 800 people with a 50% open rate. And I could put it on my blog, which has a very high readership. And I could then also just put it out there on social media as a post with an image, with or without an image. I've lost count. But I am repurposing every message that I put out there at about a dozen times. 3 days a week, half hour a day. And then on the days when I'm not posting, I simply engage in the conversations. I reply to the people that, or if someone reacts to my message, I send them a message saying thank you, asking them what resonated most. If they comment, I reply to their comment. I might ask them a follow-up question. And here's the thing. I know right now you're starting to say, yeah, this all sounds familiar. I get these kind of messages all the time on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Someone sends you a connection request, you accept, and then they immediately follow up with a pitch slap, an invitation to jump on a sales call. That's not what I'm talking about here. When I engage in these conversations, I never share a link to a resource or to a discovery call scheduling link unless they've asked for it or unless I've invited them and they've accepted. It generally takes me just a few messages to get to the point where I either am ready to send a scheduling link, or I'm ready to move on because this person is not the right person. I'm going to give you one little bonus pro tip here. When I'm on social media, I am only connected with people on social media that I actually would love to work with. I don't work with people that I can inspire. I work with people that inspire me. And so when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm looking for the people who are doing amazing work out there that I think I could be of service to, that I could help them amplify and scale their results. And I follow those people. I'm only connected to those people. And the same on Facebook. I am actually keeping a list of the people, a top 10 list at all times of these are people that I would really love to work with. And when they comment on my posts, when they respond to my emails, then I engage in these conversations that lead to calls where I can then work my magic and show them what's broken, what needs fixing, what's missing, and demonstrate that I have a solution that I can help them. And I'm in a position now where I can do that with guaranteed results. And so it's a very effective way of getting clients. I'm going to share just one little example. Just 4 days ago, I saw someone liked a clip of a podcast that I was a guest on the host's LinkedIn page, or I'm sorry, Facebook page. I messaged that person and thanked them for giving the clip a little love, asked if they were interested in connecting on Facebook so that I could learn more about the difference that they were making, and if they had anything that they were willing to share about what they found insightful and inspiring from the clip. That person actually wrote me back immediately and said, I listened to this podcast because I'm thinking about working with the people that host it, but after hearing your interview, I think I need to work with you. Can we hop on a call? I sent a message to someone that simply reacted to a post on someone else's page, and I got a sales call just 4 days later, and that person is now getting ready to enroll in a high-ticket program. That's the power of conversation. That's what happens when you engage in authentic human-to-human connection, communication, with authenticity, with generosity, with empathy, and with a desire to serve. All right, we're in the home stretch here. How this approach works. Again, be selective. I am only targeting 10 people at a time that I would really love to work with if I had the privilege to do so. I find a point of connection, something that can just start a conversation. I've started conversations with, hey, my son was born in Chicago too. It's not that hard. The thing is, you want to ease into the conversation. And the second point, or the third point is actually really important here. Always make it about them, never about you. Hey, tell me more about what you do. Oh, I see that you're a transformation specialist or whatever they're calling themselves. Tell me more about what that is. Who are the people that you serve? What's the difference that you make with them? And then never send a link to a resource or scheduling link unless they ask or accept an invitation for you to do so. Why this approach works? It works because it's always worked. This is the way sales has always happened. You go to a showroom and a salesperson comes out, they talk to you, they learn about what your needs, dreams, and desires are. They give you a tour of the possible solutions, the possible ways that you could achieve your desire or aspiration, and they earn your permission, trust, interest, enrollment, and investment. The other thing is that, as I said, you see a lot of people doing what they think is what I'm teaching you, but they're not. They're actually just spamming and trying to scam people into jumping on a sales call where they're just going to use false urgency and high pressure tactics to get you to buy something. They're playing a numbers game. They're going to book as many calls with as many people as possible, knowing that if they can get 1 out of 100 to buy their program, that they're going to earn some sort of commission. That's not what I'm talking about here. And when you do this kind of outreach correctly, you actually earn instant trust and authority because it is so different from the messaging they're getting from everybody else there in the marketplace. And the other thing is that human beings are just social creatures by nature. We are hardwired for connection, belonging, and reciprocity. When you show up with empathy, with compassion, with concern and consideration for the situation or the aspiration that your ideal client has, and deliver value, create that empathetic antagonism that gets them to take a step into possibility with you, it really, really works. Okay, so I already gave the example that I intended to share with you here. And finally, what I want to do is issue this 30-day challenge. So I've told you that I wanted to double my monthly revenue consistently in 90 days. I did just that. I hit my monthly revenue numbers starting in June, so a month early. In July, I met my revenue target, and now I'm recording this just a few days into August, and it's very clear to me that I'm going to not have no problem hitting my target this month. This works. It takes 30 minutes a day. You post 3 days a week on social media. you post to your email list, you put it on YouTube and your podcast, whatever else you have. It doesn't require you to build or do anything new. You can do all of this on one social media platform. Half hour, 3 days a week posting, half hour a day sending private messages or sharing comments to people that are reacting and responding to what you're posting. Now, we're all wrapped up here. I'm going to send you in a day some additional resources. They're basically 5 short articles that my readers have said this is the best stuff Scott's ever written. It all has to do with additional things that you can employ to amplify and leverage this approach. I'm going to invite you to take this 30-day challenge. Try what I just shared with you for 30 days. And I would love to hear back from you as to what kind of results you got. You can ask me questions. Down below this video, I shared my email address. Send me a question. I'm happy to reply. If you want this document that I've been going through as part of this presentation, I'm happy to share that as well. This is it. That's the end of the presentation. I hope you found a lot of value in this. If you are interested in reaching out to me to see how we might work together and help you step more boldly into your potential and promise as a difference maker in your entrepreneurial adventures, I'd love to have that conversation. If you're ready to just take this and try it out there in the world, I'm going to be cheering you on, and I hope that you'll share your results with me. I want to thank you for your time, your attention, your consideration, and most of all, for the difference that you already make. Be well, do good, have fun.